I'm back with another Ask Dr. Radosta question. Hi, I have two dogs who are littermates, 2 years old and about 12 pounds. They're a mix of Corgi, Australian Shepherd, Border Collie, and Blue Lacy, although they mostly resemble Corgis. We originally had just the runt of the litter, who was always great with other dogs. The older sibling lived with my parents until recently, but now both live with us full time. When they're apart, each dog interacts well with other dogs individually. However, when they're together and another dog is introduced, whether it's a new dog or even familiar ones like family dogs during the holidays, the older sibling becomes aggressive. She growls, she shows her teeth, and sometimes lunges or bites at the other dog. Recently, they dog sat for a family friend, and this situation escalated. Our typically sweet runt also began showing aggressive behaviors, which is very unlike her. And we have dog sat this dog before with no problem when it was just our dog, the younger one. Why might this be happening when they're together but not alone? Could it be a sibling dynamic or something else? Fantastic question and super common question. Couple things to think about. It sounds like the older sibling really is not great with dogs to begin with. And so I wonder if you're missing the signs that this older dog is uncomfortable with other dogs. Sometimes pet parents will say to me, my dog is fine with other dogs. And I say, well, what does that mean? Does your dog play with them? Does your dog run up with the whole body wagging? Or is your dog kind of in the same space, whether it's a park or a room, and not interacting with the other dogs? If your older dog ignores other dogs, he's not fine with other dogs. So if you add a little bit of stress to that, then that can cause the explosion of aggression. Another thing you might be seeing as it relates to your younger dog is what's called social facilitation. We see it all the time. Depending on which one of my peeps I'm with, sometimes I shop more, sometimes I have more martinis, sometimes I yell more at concerts. It just depends on who I'm with, right? It's that social facilitation, and we see that in dogs too. So if your older dog became aggressive, it makes sense that in some situations that younger one is going to follow suit. Another factor might be the location or the situation. Bringing a dog into a household where there are multiple dogs already living can be a recipe for some tension and even for aggression. We see dogs, of course, that are territorial, but also you mentioned the holidays, and holidays can be really chaotic. That's enough to stress dogs out. At the end of the day, your dogs are saying very clearly, they don't want to be interacting with other dogs, at least when they're together. So maybe you can ask family members to just leave their dog at home during the holidays. Maybe don't take your dogs to their homes if they have a dog, or you can always put your dogs up in a separate room during holidays. That way, everybody is safe and comfortable. If you really want to introduce your dogs to other dogs, and that's really important to you, reach out to a force-free dog training professional or come to see someone like me, a board-certified veterinary behaviorist.